Hi, I'm Bry Cox with BryCoxWORKSHOPS.com, and I have with me my good friend Trajan.
Hi, everybody. Hi, America.
From InvincibleStartup.com, a training website for business entrepreneurs.
Well said.
And this isn't specifically a question, but it's a thought I've had from a number of books that I've noticed a common theme from business books to marriage books, all kind of talking about your morning routine and setting up a nice positive start to your day. And completely cold, if not prepped Trajan on this. I also kind of wanted to ask him. So here's my quick thought. And I've thought about this a lot too in the way, and I don't know if they've been influenced by these books over the years or what, but really what I try to do is I don't watch any news. I don't open news sites. I don't go first thing in the morning, what's happening in the news, but I tend to usually start off with some audiobooks or any kind of something more positive. And then I'm kind of focusing on my own list throughout the day, or at least for the first part of the day. Mm-hmm. If I can, I tend to really exercise in the afternoon, but sometimes I'll try to exercise in the morning and the idea is to start off with something really positive. So the next step is also more positive, and the next step is more positive. And then I kind of ease into some of the more negative news and other things of the world. Anyway, so that was my little intro, but I'm very curious to know what you would have to say.
I do it similar to you, but instead of positive, negative, I do it by effort.
Oh, okay.
So I do the things, I have a certain list of things I do every day in a process. Like I check my social media accounts, like Twitter. I post to Twitter. I never check email first thing in the morning because that throws the day out of whack. Usually I don't even check email till about noon.
Okay.
Because the morning is for stuff for me to do that is routine. Because when I just first sit down, I just do stuff that's basic to kind of get me going.
Yeah.
And then I do something that's really hard, the thing that I don't want to do, because that's when I have most of the energy in the morning. So I do the things that are hard for me to do, and it's different for everybody, what's hard, that takes a lot of brain power. And then I'll work out to take a little break, and then I'll come back around noon and then do the things that just have to be done. But from when I start till noon, I have a list of things I do and then a list of things that I don't do. A lot of people like to meditate and just kind of relax in the morning. I like to do that. Like I read sometimes. Sometimes I just kind of let it take a while to get going.
Yeah.
And just do the things that I like in the morning, because that kind of gets me in that, like you said, in that peaceful mood. Like I'm excited for work.
Yeah.
Excited to get going. So I do the things that I like to do, followed by the things that are really hard, and then do some kind of exercise.
Awesome. So that reminds me of two different books. One, John Acuff, and it was it Start? I think it was called Start, one of his book, which is it's called Start, Punch Fear in the Face, blah, blah, blah. It's a very long title. I don't remember exactly. But he talks about, like, if you were trying to maybe start your own business on the side, your family, your wife will all be far more on board if you get up extra early and you focus on that first and then go to your other job, as opposed to trying to fit it in later at night. In other words, do the hard thing first, which is kind of the same thing you're saying.
Yeah, when you have the energy. When you come home from work, even if you're a night person, you come home from work, you don't feel like doing that kind of thing. You spent your whole day working for somebody else.
Yeah.
So your energy isn't really there. And I think your ideas and your work, your output will be subpar.
Yeah. And he says, like, your willpower is spent, which is why clubs and bars are all open at night, because nobody, it can take a certain amount of time throughout the day before your willpower is exhausted. And then, so if you're trying to put the most important thing at the end, it just doesn't get done.
Yeah. And I would add to that, schedule everything. I like to do two things. I make a list. The day before, I make a list of what I'm going to accomplish the next day. Like, I think in my mind, if I want tomorrow to be successful, what are the things I would have had to have accomplished? Yeah. So at the end of tomorrow, when I'm wrapping everything up, I want to be able to say, I accomplished these things. It doesn't have to be a long list. It could be just one thing if you've got a big project to work on. And then secondly, schedule everything. So when you sit down at your desk, you don't think to yourself, well, what should I do now? It's dictated to you because you planned it ahead of time. And that helps you stay on task, stay focused, because you're working according to your plan and not according to how you feel that day.
Now, I have a question on lists. I do a combination of mental lists and some written lists. And I was just curious what you do. I found the more I've kept lists, the more I'm able to keep more mental lists. Even though I'll still go, oh, I better write this one down, or I better write this down. even still, when I'm going to bed and I'm planning my next day, it's almost like I go through this mental list of this the next day, and I don't really forget any of those things.
Yeah, I do it.
But I'm curious what you do. If it's
I write everything down. Well, not always, but I try to write everything down because it helps me take it off my mind.
Right.
So because I like to compartmentalize. When I'm done working, I'm done working. So on the weekends, I don't work. At night, I don't work. I'm not one of those type of people that's always on their phone doing work when I'm hanging out with friends.
Yeah.
Because I like to keep it separate. And the way that I keep my mind clear is if I come up with an idea or think of something I have to do and it's at night or the weekend, then I don't want to spend the rest of the night thinking about it. Or I do a lot of internalization. That's my personality. I think about it and go through the whole thing and have conversations in my head and do the whole thing. And so I just write it down just so I can offload it out of my brain and onto something else.
Nice.
So then I can focus on something else that I'm doing.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's the main reason for making lists.
Yeah, I agree. Because otherwise, your mind just is like, I'm going to forget this. Or it just keeps going through them. Mm-hmm. But once it's written down, I totally agree. You can just let it go. Now you can.
Yeah. Then you can
rest.
Yeah. You can focus on something else. You can, because the worst thing is to be at dinner with your family or you're watching a movie and you're thinking of tomorrow at work, the things that you have to do.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people like me, I can't shut it off. That's just, I have a very type A compulsive personality that I just go over and over it. But if I write it down, then that helps me to shut it off and go back to the thing that I'm doing.
Awesome. So even though we started with kind of starting your day off more positive, we kind of hit this common theme again, which is being organized, keeping lists, which is something I think we talk about quite a bit.
But I like what you said when you started about being positive, because there are a lot of things that during your day can de-energize you. Like before we came here to film, I was dealing with a problem that a client had with his website. And when problems come up like that, it can just like drain your energy. If you have a client that complains, then
like our video's over, but we'll still finish here. You're going to watch a slide for like 15 seconds while we end here.
Then that takes a lot of energy. So if you plan and put things in your schedule that keep you energized, successes, then that will keep you going.
Excellent. Awesome. All right. Check out each of our websites, even though it's just a slide right now. BryCoxWORKSHOPS.com.
A slide of our websites.
Yeah. And InvincibleStartup.com for Trajan.
Thanks for watching, America.
Thanks. Until next time, America.